I can tell you, as one who has been in the trenches for 12 and a half years, most of the issues you have to deal with require compassion more than they require anything else. You have to care about people's needs. You have to care about what happens to them. You have to understand their problems and their issues. Ladies and gentlemen, all of the members of this team satisfy those requirements. And that is why I am delighted, I am immensely proud to stand with each of them. All of you will know the old man of the block, the old gray-haired man, so I don't need to say too much about him. Like a rock, Mr. Kurt Tibbetts. I think most people know, but Kurt has been my friend and mentor for 26 years. It was him who dragged me into politics when he was trying to get elected in 1992, having run unsuccessful in 1988. I worked with him 2 campaigns, and then he dragged me to be his running mate. And I've been elected by you, the good people of Georgetown, 3 times with Kurt. He is my friend, my mentor. He has done what I don't believe any other leader in Cayman, I don't even know if anybody else in the region did that. Stepped aside because he thought it was time for someone else to take the helm. But as the old people say, he has been there hand and foot with me every step of the way. And I am proud to be running with him again, and I am so much more confident because I have him as part of our team by my side as we walk this road down to the 22nd of May, and with your support into the House on the 22nd of May. The wisdom, the knowledge, the experience that Kurt, as former leader of government business and former leader of the opposition, and 20 years in the Legislative Assembly brings to this team is something that nobody can discount. And we are immensely gratified to have someone of his stature as part of the team. And I move on to the wealth of experience of Tony Eden. Any of you know Tony Eden? He is here tonight with only one wing. But that doesn't lessen his contribution or his enthusiasm. He's coming in from the cold. Tony brings, like Kurt, a wealth of experience. He has been a minister in 3 different administrations. He has been a representative for 5 terms. And I just know the people of Bordentown are going to give him 1 more term. And then, I can't tell you how proud I was the day that Moses Colonel called me all the way from Cayman Brac to tell me that he had accepted my offer for him to join me as part of the leadership team of the Progressives as the deputy leader. I even said to him, because I can tell you things were really rough then, I even said to him half joking, "You sure you don't want to take the leadership?" He said, "No, you can have that." But Moses has been an exemplary representative for the district of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. He's an extraordinarily successful businessman and a most caring and compassionate individual, and there is no doubt that he will be returned in the district of Cayman Brac as the first elected member Quincy! That's right, Quincy. First elected. And then the only woman on the team, Miss Lucille. The timeless, ageless Miss Lucille. Miss Lucille looks as young now as she did the first time I met her, I swear. But Miss Lucille has had a long and distinguished career, first as a teacher, then as a public servant, rising to the position of permanent secretary, and having been elected as part of the PPM slate of candidates in 2005. She's a known activist, she's a known community worker, and the people of Georgetown absolutely love her. We are delighted to have her on the team, because I can tell you, if anybody ever forget in any discussions to deal with an issue as it relates to women, or to deal with a social issue, whether it relates to housing or unemployment, Ms. Lucy can make sure that what she calls the social agenda is properly addressed. And then the other old veteran that is part of the team is that gray-haired fella from Borden Town, Osborne Borden. Ozzy has been my friend all my life, but probably more important than that, both he and I came up understanding the importance of serving your community. We worked together in the Interact clubs and Rotaract Club when we were youngsters. We have both been Lions for 25 years now, and we have both walked the path of service, of higher service, as elected members of the Legislative Assembly. He was a member of the PPM team in 2005, and he served Borden Town with distinction. I still don't understand how he didn't get re-elected. Osborne is a successful businessman and in his own right, but before that he spent a long stint in government and he worked for accounting firms. He has a wealth of experience and education that he brings to the PPM team, and he will bring as part of the team that represents this country come the 22nd of May. Now, we need to go to West Bay. You all heard of a fella down there called Captain Brian? He's a very quiet fella, so you might have heard of him. I am so pleased to have Captain Brian Ebanks as part of our slate for West Bay. Captain Brian is a well-known activist, very outspoken individual who never fears standing up and saying what he thinks, even if everybody else in the room disagrees with him. That takes courage. That's courage of a special kind. Although I can tell you, it gets kind of hard sometimes when you have to be the leader and deal with him. But that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. He has a long track record in looking out for the economy, arguing, pushing environmental issues. He has a strong, strong desire to improve tourism, particularly the lot of tourism in West Bay, and the people from West Bay who are involved in the hospitality industry, or as he says, should be involved in the hospitality industry. I also want you to help me appreciate the contribution of Woody DeCosta, who ran in the last election and did very well. Woody's experience in that campaign and Woody's experience as a businessman brings a tremendous amount to the PPM table when we sit down to talk about issues. They're telling me I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to speed this up. I also want to say how happy we are to have Ray Farrington, a born West Bay, and one who has done very well for himself. He has an outstanding record as a manager in one of the local banks, and he has done a tremendous amount of work for the PPM over the course of a long time. He has been very quiet over the years, but this time he felt that he has a real contribution to make, and we're delighted to have him as part of the West Bay slate. Mr. Wayne DaCosta is one of the... Mr. Wayne Panton. That's Wayne DaCosta's with his brother. Mr. Wayne Panton is another candidate that we believe brings a tremendous amount of experience in business to the PPM slate, to the progressive slate. Wayne has been the managing partner of one of the largest law firms in Cayman, and he knows the issues that affect the financial services sector better than most people in this country. In addition to that, he has a wealth of other business experience and a caring and compassionate heart, and he has been an immense help to us as we've gone through the issues and worked to develop the PPM manifesto. Mr. Darth Keith Bothwell is someone who's been part of the PPM from the day one. He ran in an election not on a PPM slate back in 2005, unsuccessfully. He's a person that is very well known in West Bay. He's a community worker. He's a successful businessman. He had a long career, as he told you, with cable and wireless. He has a wealth of experience that rounds out the PPM progressive slate of candidates. And I want to finish up with the two youngsters on the team. Often, the three youngsters on the team, there's often a cry that political parties and politicians don't represent the interest of young people because most of them are too old to understand what the issues are that affect young people. We have made sure that that will not be the case this time round. We have three youngsters, I call them. We have Mr. Joey Hugh for Georgetown. Joey is the managing director of his family's group of companies. He's been president of the Chamber of Commerce. He's been president of the Grand Cayman Rotary Club. He's been involved in the community ever since he was a youngster. After all, he belonged to Lenny Hugh. We have Mr. Kenneth Bryan. Who most of you will know as a reporter for Cayman 27. I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he's the youngest member of the team. He's 32 years old. I have never met a more committed, a more intense, a more caring individual who is concerned about the downtrodden and those who are having a hard time in Cayman. I am delighted to have him as a representative on this team, someone who will be able to help us address the issues as they relate to young people and to those who are disadvantaged in this community. And then up in Bordentown, we have Mr. Al Sakou. Al is a very successful IT specialist who worked with a major law firm for a long time and then set up his own IT business. He has left all of that to stand in this election in the district of Bordentown. And I have to tell you, I didn't really know Al, although I know his family, before he became part of our team some 6, 7 months ago. But he's a most able, although soft-spoken individual, very committed to the cause, very committed to this country, and is anxious and willing to serve as a representative for the people of the District of Bordentown. Sorry, Bob. They're all saying to me if I didn't believe that Marco was young. But Marco is so wise. Marco is the economist in the group. Marco has worked until recently with one of the major law firms in Georgetown. But before that, he spent 18 years in government in the portfolio of finance and in the economics and statistics office. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in finance and economics, an MBA, and an LLB. And he's a qualified attorney. No questions about his education and experience. He's a born Georgetowner, a very caring individual, and I'm delighted to have him as a member of our team. I'm sorry that it's taken so long, ladies and gentlemen, but when you got 15 candidates, that's how it is. But I want to finish up my stand here tonight by saying this to you. There are 56 candidates in this race. There are 21 alone in Georgetown.